What are we calling this? It's just like a beautiful situation with a bunch of good things. Like, should I call it chicken with a beautiful situation with a bunch of good things? Honestly, I should, because it's that. Hey everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. My name is Francisco. Today we are going to roast a chicken. Roasting a chicken is one of my favorite things in the world. I think that I dare say is one of the reasons why I got into cooking in the first place. Like, it was one of the first things that I cooked, and once I did it for the first time, I was like, oh, this isn't that hard. Like, why do I think that cooking is like this very hard, horrible, intimidating, scary thing? It isn't. There are a million ways to roast a chicken. I just want to put that out there. There are wet brines. There are dry brines. There are ways of like keeping your chicken submerged in a thing for 72 hours. We're not doing that today. We're serving our bird with a bunch of jarred, pickled stuff that is already bought. And I think that this is one of the main tricks that I would recommend to anyone who is cooking, and especially if you have sort of like people over and you want to put something together that kind of feels like special and curated and elevated, but you don't want to do a lot. Using things that are already either pickled or brined, it's a really nice technique to bring a lot of depth to your dishes, a lot of very complex flavors that would otherwise take a lot of effort in the kitchen to kind of replicate from scratch. So the main thing that we're doing here that is a little bit of a trick that I want to show you how to do is how to spatchcock the chicken. Spatchcocking, apart from being one of the best freaking words in the English language, is a trick that, very simplistically put, we are just removing the spine of the bird. Removing that part and sort of flattening your bird can really go a long way in having your bird cook evenly, quicker. It feels like more effort at the beginning, but it ends up being less effort in the end. It's like, it's a very rewarding little step. A lot of people, when they see this, they're like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I'm not a butcher. Don't worry, you don't need to be a butcher. The only thing that I really advise you to get are some scissors. These are some shears. Spatchcocking a chicken with a knife is a little bit more complicated, and it requires a very good knife, very sharp, and I don't know, that makes me nervous. For me, there's nothing like a nice pair of shears to do this activity. All right, please give it up for our beautiful bird. Have your hands clean. If you want to wear gloves, I totally respect that. I'm not gonna do that because I know what I'm doing. I have my bird right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna locate where the spine is, right? So this way, the bird is lying on its back, right? So these are the breasts. So flipping it over, now the bird is on its belly. This is the spine, and this is what I am looking to remove. Here I have this little flab of skin that I am going to cut and reserve. I wanna roast that. I have no problem with it. Using my shears, I'm gonna start by the bottom half so I can see that it's sort of landing over here. So I'm gonna start just cutting, guys. As you can see, what I'm doing is that I'm cutting through the ribs, so you should hear some snap. Cool. I have cut through one side, and now I want to cut through the other. The people who can't see like raw chicken handling have already left. Okay, so here is my backbone. You can see the ribs. You can reserve this. You can make stock with it. And now that we're looking into colder days, I can't recommend that enough. Lovely, now that we have our bird, I'm gonna flip it back over so that it's on its back again, spineless, but on its back. And now I'm just gonna, using the palm of my hand, I'm gonna place my hand in the middle of the two breasts, and I'm going to flatten it. So you heard some cracking. That was my chiropractor skills at work. In terms of how to prep your bird, some people take the wings, the tip of the wings, and kind of tuck them inside so that the bird is sort of like doing this. I'm gonna leave it as this because this part gets kind of like crispy, and I like it. I enjoy it like that. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Setting this aside, well, I am actually I'm gonna wash my hands first. That's kind of the annoying part about handling chicken. You gotta wash your hands before you touch other things because, you know, can't be too safe. Oh, you're not gonna fit? Just cut it in half. This quickly became a video about butchery, and frankly, I love it. All right, washing my hands one more time. All right, lovely. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to prepare a very quick brine for my chicken. Even though I'm not gonna let it brine for that long, I do want to season it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to combine 2 parts salt, 1 part sugar. And trying as best as I can to move the pieces around so that the brine lands pretty much everywhere. Flip your bird. I know a lot of people can't stand it to like see, I don't know, raw poultry or raw protein being handled, but like, I just find that so strange that like people can't see it, but they do eat it. And they're like, oh no, I don't like looking at it when it's raw. It's like, grow up, because it's our food. We need to handle it with care and respect. I think that it makes us more informed people. Okay, another thing that I'm doing is that, as you can see, the legs are now kind of falling to the sides here, and what's happening is that this skin is being taut. It's being like, ugh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create very small slits, and by doing this, we are just going to allow seasoning to reach that part, but we're going to avoid the skin like over stretching in the oven. Oh my God, you guys don't judge me. I need to sharpen my knives, like immediately. This is disgraceful. Disgraceful, I say. Why did he use a knife instead of using the shears that he was already using? I don't know. Why does this guy do anything the way he does? Seasoning that opening. Great, so as I let my chicken rest in the fridge, what I'm going to do is preheat my oven, 325. This is a very low and slow roasting time, and it gives me time to prep some of my ingredients. So first and foremost, I'm going to slice 2 lemons. I am going to remove the seeds. What I'll do is I'll slice them thinly, and I will just check and inspect them for seeds, because if I were to add the lemons with seeds, it would make everything very bitter. The lemon slices caramelize beautifully in the oven, and they give off all their juice and their flavor, but they also get like brown and cooked in all that chicken fat. It's so good. God, this is so pretty. I wish you could see it up close. I love lemon. I think it's such a beautiful fruit. Sometimes I'll eat the leftover pit. I told that to some friends the other day, and they were so disgusted. It tastes good to me. Reserving my lemon slices. Now I am slicing my capers. So capers are going to bring a lot of salt, a lot of funk, and some I'm actually gonna leave whole because I think they're so beautiful. I don't want to slice all of them. Next, I'm going to slice up my olives. I'm gonna slice them in half, and then I'm gonna put everything together in a pan, and I'm gonna mix it up, and then on top of that, I am going to add my chicken. So essentially, the chicken gets cooked with all of these beautiful, very, very flavorful ingredients underneath. Then I'm gonna take my parsley but just focusing on the stems. And finally, I am adding half a cup of navy beans. So these ingredients, as they are in the oven, they start releasing all of their beautiful perfumes, and they start perfuming and flavoring the chicken that is above them. And then the chicken will in turn to start rendering its fat. And that fat is going to cook all of my ingredients. So they're really like doing some wonderful teamwork here. I am tilting the plate that she's in just to discard any juices that might have accumulated here. Giving it a head start with a little bit of oil. I happen to have some schmaltz. Look at that. Ooh. All right, my friends, this is gonna go into the oven for 90 minutes-ish. I'm gonna check it after 90 minutes. See you then. It's done. It's there. So what I did here, let me just shut this up. So what I did here was that I cooked my chicken at 325, was it? So low and slow for 90 minutes. And then for the last 15 to 18 minutes, I upped the temperature to 420. So I did this because that last blast heat is no longer gonna cook the chicken. The chicken is already cooked, but it's going to hit the outside with a nice blast of heat, making the skin really nice and golden brown, caramelizing that sugar that was on top of it. So it's for presentation, it's for flavor, it's all good things. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to retire my chicken from here, and I wanna work only with the drippings and with the rest of the ingredients. There's a couple of things that are happening here while the chicken is resting. One is that now I am free to actually work with all the drippings here, which is what I want. But second, the temperature of the chicken is gonna come down a little bit, and you want chicken, and any kind of protein for that matter, you want to give them a chance to cool down, and while they're cooling down, everything inside, all of the juices inside, all of the fat, it's going to congeal a little bit. It's going to kind of settle a little bit. If I were to cut this chicken right now, all of the juices will just flow out, and I would be left with very dry meat. I'm gonna turn the pan drippings almost into like a salad. Mixing in with my parsley. And I'm dressing all of this with the juice of a lemon. Okay, the final step that I'm doing is I am adding some olive oil. I'd say that was about 3 tablespoons. Nobody panic, but I'm running out of olive oil. Okay, y'all, this is still warm, but I can maneuver it with my hands. Let's carve this baby. Let's put it on top of our pan sauce, and let's eat. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take away the thigh and the leg. So just kind of doing very small movements with my knife. But as you can see, I'm wiggling it, and it just came right off. I'm actually gonna use my chopping board. Carving a chicken is very much about feel. You need to see what feedback the knife is giving you. See for yourself where things are falling, and then just encourage it with the knife. And now the last thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprinkle with some chili flake. These are more like papaya peppers. They're delicious, they're fresh, they're briny. But look at that plate. I mean, wouldn't you be super excited if this came your way? Don't mind if I do, grab a fork and knife. I love, love, love the color. The fact that everything is like bright green, but you also have those like more dull greens from the olive and from the artichoke. The way that the lemon softens and is like caramelized by the chicken fat is really, really delicious. Eat the lemon, by the way. If you see anyone not eating the lemon, tell them like, oh, you're supposed to eat the lemon. Like, I'm so disturbed by people not eating their lemons when they're served to them. Buy your chicken, open a bottle of wine, invite some friends over, and have a blast. Don't forget to interact with the video. If you liked it, click the buttons, do the thing. New videos will come out every week. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.